Welcome to Conversations about Crystals, Stones, and Healing with Uma Silbey. I'm your host, Becca Reed. Hi, Uma.
Hey, hi. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. So today we're talking about a subject that cannot be ignored, anxiety.
Anxiety, which we try to ignore many times. Just we have that feeling inside, anxiety is physical, emotional, mental. And I think ultimately it reflects a lack of maybe wider understanding or a larger context within which to hold events.
Yeah, perspective. Yeah.
Perspective, yes.
Yes. So talk a little bit about anxiety and how crystals can help to alleviate that feeling.
Great. The first thing that's helpful, because not every crystal does exactly the same thing every time.
Oh,
that's important to know. So when I talk about the stones, I'll sort of talk more about that.
Okay.
But the first thing to do in order to work with anxiety is to become very aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
You can work with someone else, or you can work with yourself, obviously, with the crystals. It's easier actually to work with someone else. You're not as subjectively involved, but most healers know that.
So noticing is the key. Notice it.
Noticing, yeah. So some of it's very obvious. If you just scan your physical body, your head may be clenched, so you get headaches, your jaw clenches, your teeth may ache, you may have tooth problems. You could even have earaches from the clenching in the middle of the back of your neck, sort of where your spine joins your skull. And there it's like that. You're trying to hold it together, right? And then you go down. Are you feeling in love with the world? Are you feeling emotional? Chances are you're not feeling anything except, which is reaction, right? So that feeling will clench your back, particularly between the two shoulder blades, which is actually in the middle is the back of your heart chakra. The chakras go through the physical body.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, well, that's why when I work with stones, I work on the front and I also work on the back.
So do you do one treatment, I guess I'm going to call it, and then flip people over, or do you have them laying on crystals?
Sometimes I have them flip over. Sometimes they're sitting up. If you have someone sitting up, I can't really do it right now, and I try to show a chakra. Say if my face here is a body sideways, you can really go like this and see how the energy goes through, especially if you use, crystals.
So so would you like hold them on both sides at once or try to?
Well, what I usually do is work on the front, but when I'm working on the front, I'm not seeing it as this flat surface.
Oh, you imagine it going through.
I feel that energy going in through the body and through. Sometimes if I'm working, say, on grounding, which we'll talk about, it's great for anxiety. But I imagine beams of light going into the earth, and I use smoky quartz. Let's see, a dark one like that.
Wow,
I have some really big ones, and I put those on the bottom of the feet, and we work with breath. And as we breathe in and out of the bottoms of the feet, you imagine roots going into the earth.
So there's more than just applying the crystals. You really need to add your energy to direct them. Is that?
Yeah, your intention. Crystal working is a combination of what the stones themselves do. They have color properties. They do vibrate in certain ways, which will affect the body vibrationally, positively, we hope. We use intention is so important. That's your focus. That's your aim. As long as you remember that in setting the intention, you're like this hollow tube that spirit comes through and does its work. You're setting conditions. So when I work with the body, I lay stones on the body. For instance, to, when you're clenched, that's like fire. Feel that energy.
Sure.
So we were talking about feeling, right?
Mhm.
So take a moment and feel that in your body. And if I'm working with someone else, I'll feel that in their body, their energy field. And this is a green calcite. It's really good on the heart chakra, and it's very gentling. Little aside. So anyway, as I go over the bodies, or the physical body in the aura, something really fiery will feel like, something depressed will be like a hole.
Oh.
And so I talk in my books about this, how to pull out this kind of energy, which you can do that all over the whole body. But if I'm say using a clear quartz and here's this, I may circle it, hook it, and pull it out and send it into the earth. I may smooth it. I may put a cool green because it's really fiery red, and visualize that color green going in and flooding that area of red. So what we do, we lay stones on the body, and we use intention and visualization. And if I'm working with someone else, I guide them to also visualize that. So back with how you feel, right? You got the clenched jaw, the pinched back, the small of your stomach takes a huge hit with anxiety. Some people have indigestion that can't eat, or they overeat. Usually that's more with depression, but it can happen, food's fun.
Everybody I know weighs more than they did before March.
Yeah, right. And then, we talked about grounding into the earth. The earth is your security, your grounding, it's earth, it's solid, not impermeable, but it's grounded.
It's absorbing it.
Yeah, and it's anchoring. So for anxiety, by the way, we were talking earlier about anxiety. Where does it come from? Is it just the event?
Or yeah, or more.
Yeah, or more. Yeah. Or how much of our anxiety has to do with how we frame the event, how we understand the event,
or project it to the future. Yeah.
So there's two things with that. There is a reality to anxiety. You have vibrational things happening to you in the physical plane. You lose your job. That's like a punch, right? Energetically, you feel it. It's in your stomach, your jaw, all of that. But there's also a way to understand in a way that sort of softens the anxiety and can take it away entirely. But anxiety, it's not a static thing. So you may take it away entirely and you're feeling like, maybe you have a rhodochrosite on your heart center and you're breathing and you're full of love, but then something happens again, or you even think about it or visualize it.
Or you just have a trigger.
Past, right? Or you're imagining what might happen in the future. And bam, there it is again, another punch. So you work again. So it's a continuing process. So it's best to be aware during these times rather than run from it. You can't do anything if you run from it.
Is there something like, I know, like there are the crystals and everything to change your emotional state on the subject, but are there, I know you're a psychologist, so are there things people should think, like when they notice that they're anxious, are there questions they can ask themselves to calm down? Like as a coach, I would ask if this is real or a story. What would you suggest?
I would ask, have you asked yourself the question, who is the one who is experiencing anxiety? Where is that one located? Will that one start or end? Where is that one? Who is that one?
Because you're noticing there is a separation.
Pardon?
Because you're noticing, if you're noticing it, then you're not in it. So something is, there is another one who's.
So that event is held in the context of, not to denigrate it, but how interesting. This is a problem to be solved. This may even be an opportunity. You know, maybe you really hated that job and, you know, it's really hard right now not to have it, but maybe you're going to find something you like better. So I often, when I work with anxiety, when there's a problem, and I do this in counseling too, it's like, if you could imagine any other way you would have it or thing you would do, in this case, if it was a job, what would it be? Imagine yourself doing that. That opens you up to possibility, like, this isn't all the end of it.
Yeah. What would you like it to be? Yeah.
So that's a larger context. And that, if all you do is hold that and meditate on who is the one who is feeling anxious, and do that with your spine straight, maybe focus on your heart center, because it's not something you're going to figure out. It's not mental. And ground yourself, maybe put that smoky quartz under your feet, and a rose quartz, or a, you know, this is a green jade, a little heart.
Yeah,
Put that on your heart. Yeah, I used to make pendants for this on 24-inch cords, generally go right over the heart center. Yeah. But anyway, I digress. So the stones, go back to how the body feels. So while you're holding it in this larger context, what you want to do, here's how you might use your stones. First of all, you want to maintain that higher consciousness. So you may put an amethyst. Can you see that?
Oh,
Over
yeah.
the crown. This one I would point up, you know.
Okay, to pull out.
The crown, that's the chakra or the energy point of higher consciousness. You know, larger expanded awareness, you know.
So when you're pointing it out, are you directing energy from inside up through that chakra, or pulling it better in? Are they pulling in or both?
You can do both. If you have a double terminated with a point on each end, like this clear crystal, see, double terminated point on each end, then you'll visualize the higher energy coming into, you know, spirit, higher consciousness, flowing into your crown chakra and opening it and flooding your body. Or if it's pointing out, you imagine that that opens your crown chakra, which prepares the higher spirit to come in. So in either way, you're opening this, which pulls in that violet energy or the energy of higher awareness. Now, if you're clenching your eyes, your teeth, you know, all of this area here, what you want to do is relax. These are, let's see if you can see this. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a blue lace agate. And you can place, I have a lot of these because I use them a lot. Place one on each jaw where they hinge together. You know, place one on the cheekbones. Close your eyes and place it on your eyes. For headaches, place it here. And you notice there's a balance between the two sides. And if what you can do too is place it on the third eye. Just calm down that thinking. You know, that over imagination of what may possibly go wrong. Just calm it. So you notice I'm using the light blues and I'm using these light green colors to calm. Use what really seems to calm it down. If you are feeling, you know, tense and you put a green on and not much happens, you might try light blue. Do not put red, orange, yellow, black. Black is more shielding, but it won't really do much here. Throat center, if you feel like crying, but you're holding it in, so you get a lot of sore throats. The color of that is turquoise blue. Or you may just want to calm it and put a light green heart, a smaller stone. You don't want to. So.
Want a big weighty thing there?
No, you don't.
A boulder.
Common sense. And then, you know, if your back is tight, I put amethyst in the small of your back, and that I kind of tuck under, you know, on your stomach. Normally that chakra in the abdomen and stomach, those are all your yellows and oranges. Avoid those colors at this point. You know, what you need to do is relax that, because you're overtaxing your nervous system.
So Are you saying that those chakras are now kind of dominating? And
Yes, they're fear. Anxiety is a form of fear, but there's a mental, emotional, physical, they're all related, all those components, you know. So on your stomach, you want to calm that. And I would tend to use light greens, and maybe coupled, you know, you can put amethyst with it, maybe the 4 directions. You know, and then breathe. Imagine your breath flowing in and out of the small of your back or out of your stomach. The stomach and small of the back are related. So relax your stomach, relax the small of the back. So amethyst can be good. And then, you know, I may use amethyst down the rest of the body, or just my cooling stones, 2nd chakra, 3rd chakra, first base of the spine. Base of the spine, I would put, here's a beautiful hematite, which I use sometimes. Yeah. That at the base of the spine.
And why there?
That's grounding. That the base of your spine, there's this chakra, the 1st chakra, and we can talk about it, you know, another session. But the typical color is red. You think fire. That's life force, you know, the life force of the earth and the fire and the volcano and Pele, Kali, you know, those kind of energies come in through your root that feeds your entire energetic body. Ideally, I talk about this in my book, because ideally you want to balance the higher and lower chakras so you function appropriately, you know. But in this case, you probably, if you're in anxiety and fear, you're not going to be grounded into the earth. You're going to be kind of like, so you're about an inch over energetically above. You're not really fastened to the earth there. You're here imagining what may happen. Yeah. Or reminiscing on the past and then imagining it's going to repeat itself, you know. But anyway, so as I talked about grounding, you want that chakra to be less active. I would put a green right over the pubic bone, like a light green right above it. And then at the base of the spine, put a smoky quartz. If you want a softer grounding, use a light colored smoky quartz.
Instead of the hematite?
Yeah, and then put either smoky quartz or black tourmaline, or, you know, dark brown or black crystals at the center bottom of each foot. Or if the person you're working with is laying down, just put it opposite at the bottom of the heel and point it away from the body.
Ah, okay.
And then as a healer, you can guide the person to relax the body piece by piece by piece. You know, chakra by chakra, area by area. You know, you want to flow down to up. And then visualize, you know, guide them to be grounded into the earth, you know, guide those roots to come down. And you can also, by the way, the fingers have streams of energy and they can go into the earth. So you may even put a clear quartz crystal on the palm like this. I would actually use a single terminated something. No, this is a good one. Like that. So it's
so it's just pointing out.
And then have them imagine the roots from the fingers going into the earth.
Now, when you say to direct the energy down to up, do you mean to go down and then
go
come
down,
back up?
Yeah, from your crown down into the earth. Then you can reverse it, and on the in-breath, you can imagine the energy flowing up the body and opening through your crown, giving you perspective and mental relief. And, you know, so you're grounding and you're changing your perspective and you're relaxing the areas of the body.
Okay, so when we talk about intention and then imagining the flow of this energy, obviously we're intentioning, our intention is to feel better and alleviate anxiety, but is it valuable or more valuable to imagine to be intent to have better perspective or be more specific about what you want to feel, or does it matter?
You mean, I'm not quite understanding. Can you direct the way you feel? Is that what you're asking?
Is it, yeah, like we began with thinking that, when you work with crystals or healing of any kind, you always have an intention to basically do
Right.
good. but
Right.
but
Yes.
when you do it for yourself or someone that you're very familiar with, could you be, or should you be more specific? Should you intend to develop perspective or anything in particular?
Yeah. First things first, though, is to relax and open the body with your crystals. And by that time, they're in sort of an altered reality that you can speak more deeply, right? And then you may have them use their imagination. I can take people into a crystal ball or a crystal, or just guide them into a larger space, right? Where they imagine the world being how they would like it, perhaps. Depends what's going on with them. If I go back to the analogy of a job, they imagine themselves walking into the new place, and here's something new that they get to do. And gee, they've always wanted to do this. Maybe they're going to make music, which, or maybe, I don't know, they wanted to go back to college,
Mm-hmm.
So you shift the thinking through the visualization into more positive thoughts, that there are possibilities. When you're anxious, it's kind of like, that's the end of the world. It's like, it's always going to be this way, or you negatively self-judge. And that's a whole nother talk about self-judgment. If I was more talented, if I was more beautiful, if I was more, I don't know, if I weighed less, this thing wouldn't happen to me, or life would not be hard. Now, the more you think about your problems and become more anxious, life becomes harder. You miss out on the joys that you can feel. I mean, anxiety becomes all inclusive. So that you miss out on the other joys. There's always a balance.
Yeah, you always get what you
want to
expect.
focus more on the joy, not, ignore everything, but you can focus more on the joyful things. Maybe the smile of your child when they wake up first thing in the morning and run to hug you. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You can focus on those things.
Yeah, that is a good point.
You can also focus on how you would change your reality.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's never gonna always stay the same. These things that make you anxious are going to change. Life always changes.
Can I ask you about something kind of analogous to this? Is a little off the subject, sort of, but I have several friends who at night when they go to bed, replay their day in their mind. And when they come across a place they didn't like, they reimagine it in the way they would rather have seen it go. And they sort of like erase what's wrong with their day and add in what would have been better. And they swear that this makes their life much easier. Is that something you would recommend?
Oh, that's a wonderful thing to do. Yeah. You would definitely wake up feeling more positive. You would change your body energetically too. When you imagine something, first of all, your brain doesn't know the difference between what's imagined and what's, quote, real. They're quite the same to your brain. So, when you imagine something different, then there's a sort of excitement and new possibility, and you've changed your body vibrationally. And when you interact with the world with a different vibration in your body, this is all subtle, then you change the vibrations you attract from the world. For instance, I mean, to use a more earth-plane example, but when you go around angry, you tend to attract angry people, angry events, and because you're vibrating to that energy. You may not be intentionally doing that, but it's going out with force. Particularly when you're anxious, then you put that emotion behind the thought.
Yes.
So that's a wonderful practice to do. You can do that as a visualization with crystals as well.
Can we talk just briefly about expectation, about how what you expect happens?
It tends to follow expectation, yes. This is going to be a disaster. I just know it. Sure enough, it is. Because you're just watching for that disastrous thing or series of disastrous things. And you probably imagine them in quite detail. So, you're on the watch for them. So
Yeah, and you're vibrating, so you're
And you're
drawing.
vibrating, you're in defense already for something that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
But chances are, if you go around like that, oh, it'll happen, you know,
Yeah.
in
Well,
some form.
we're always thinking, oh, I always goof this up. And then you always do.
And
I
then
am
you
always late. So you always are.
It's
Yeah.
like me and technology. This is not going to go smoothly. I'm just no good at this. And sure enough, it's like,
And I know it's nice to know that even though you know how not to do that,
you
we
do
all
it.
still do.
Yeah. And it's really helpful to remember another nice perspective to put things in when you're negatively self-judging, when you're anxious, and you imagine someday there will be a perfect world. Their perfection is just a mental idea. It is perfect in a larger sense, but I forgot where I was going. I got the larger perspective with this, but I don't know. I forget my train of thought, but life always changes. Oh, here it is. And there's no perfect life. There's no perfect person. There's no perfect that you're kind of imagining. And it's really hard when you imagine perfect to get it exact, because it's just a concept. Life flows, life changes. It's,
Yeah, and
and there
perfection doesn't
is
matter.
a state of consciousness where things happen and there's no bad, there's no good. It's stuff,
Yeah, it just
there's
is.
an awareness behind it,
Yeah.
or it's held within, hard to describe it.
Well, I hate to use the word lesson, but it is sort of like when things go wrong, with quotes around it, that it just gives you an opportunity to think of what you'd rather have and to fine tune your real desires.
Yeah.
And then you can focus on that, and that it gives you it's just a sign you're off your path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to remember, things happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how good we are or bad we are, because we
No.
do judge ourselves very often with that.
Yeah.
But things change.
Yeah. And those things aren't always about you. Sometimes things
No.
happen so you can end up in a place to do something for somebody else. If you don't, you're part of someone else. Yeah, we're all swirling around at the beck and call of the universe, going to where we're supposed to go.
Yeah. I was just going to show you a great stone I have. And this one is a wonderful heart chakra stone. Look at this.
Oh,
It's
that is
African
beautiful.
malachite.
Wow.
The end of it.
Oh, wow. That is something. Look
Yeah,
at
I like the ends. If
the
you're
pink.
making jewelry, they slice it
Oh,
horizontally. And so you
wow.
get those circles in
Those
the
are
piece of
amazing.
jewelry. But this, when you have a very hot, fiery situation, or you really need to open the heart chakra right away, this intense green is excellent. Emeralds too are excellent for that.
Ah.
This is the nurturing, mothering of the universe. These are the plants, the green, it's nurturing. And it's also the color of the heart chakra traditionally.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, I like that one.
Well, we have a few minutes left. Do you want to do a meditation about this to help people with anxiety? Would that be a good way to end?
Yeah, I think it might be. Yeah, I think let's start with some grounding, because if we've been listening, we may be up in our third eye here, but we'll do some grounding, and maybe it will flow.
Okay.
How about that? Okay, so I'm going to hold a stone, and I'm going to hold an amethyst, because amethyst is good for any kind of healing. And now to do this, you want to close your eyes. I might add, if you're driving, don't do this meditation. Starting with don't close your eyes. You can do it later. So holding an amethyst in both hands, between the palms, or on, put your hands together with the stone in the middle and place your hands over your heart chakra in the middle of the chest, like you're praying. This is called prayer mudra, one name for it. And now imagine that your breath flows in and out of this heart chakra, Imagine your breath flowing in and filling your heart with violet, and out, letting go of all tension, in and out. Now feel the center of your back, behind the heart chakra, between the shoulder blades, the heart chakra going from front to back, in through the heart, out through the middle of your back. And now with each in-breath, bring the violet in and send it out through the center of the small of your back. Relax with every out-breath. And now place your attention to the small of your back. Relax. Relax, breathe the violet in through your heart center and out through the small of your back. Relax. Feel the surface beneath you. Relax. You're safe, always taken care of. And now breathe in the amethyst into your heart center and out through your stomach, and relax your stomach. Just let go. The small of the back and your stomach are related. Release the stomach, let it go. Breathe in and out. Now breathe in a cooling green light in through your stomach and out through your stomach, a cooling green light. Let go, let go, let go, release. And now with the in-breath through your stomach, send a beautiful brown earthen color light out through the bottom of your feet and the base of your spine. Down each leg and out through the bottoms of your feet, deep into the earth. Send those roots of light down into the earth. And now breathe in through the heart. Breathe down through your body and out through the bottoms of your feet. This is your source of strength. And now shift your breath back to your heart center. This is your source of inspiration, of love, compassion, non-judgment. You are non-judgmental. You are no worse or no better than anyone on this planet. And now breathe into the heart center and imagine that violet light going up your neck and throat, up past your forehead and out to the center, top of your head. This is your source of inspiration, of higher awareness. The inspiration, your relaxed heart, stomach, and back, and your grounding into the earth will bring you everything you need. Okay, now breathe in and out through your heart center. Open your eyes, really feel the earth beneath you. You may want to bounce your feet around a little, put your stone down, shake your hands and your neck, and just sort of get here. It's nice to end that way.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Bring yourself back.
Yes.
Where can people learn more about you and find more of your?
Well, I have a website, umasilbey.com, and that's spelled U-M-A-S like Sam, I-L-B like boy, E-Y.com. And I have tons of articles on there. I have a YouTube channel. You can find other guided visualizations and talks there. We'll be adding to that once a week. I think we're going to put a new one on. And let's see, I have books, but my latest one It's the ultimate guide to crystals and stones. It has everything you would need to work with crystals. I have a book with Simon & Schuster called Crystal Ball Gazing, a great book. And it teaches you so much more than just opening up to be able to see in those ways. And finally, I just, they're printing it now, a book called, it's all about crystals again. It's about crystal healing, you know, the power of crystal healing. And the company there is called Insight Editions, and it's coming out in July. And that book will be very, very good for you. I give some specific ways to deal with anxiety in there as well. So good. That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's great. That's great. Well, thank you so much for spending this time today.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're welcome. And I look forward to seeing you again next week.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.